Okay. All right. Ooh. So what do we... Test, test, test. So what are we doing here? Soulogy Corpus Christi. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Soulogy. We never know what we're going to do. It's kind of like life. Spontaneous, intuitive, creative, imaginative, and depending on what we're talking about or doing, courageous. We call it the I Am Soul. There is no doctrine. There is no dogma. It's just energy, and you make it up as you go. If you think about it, aren't those the best times in life? So I think it's time to clear the air and bring in the divine feminine with her drum to clear the air. Okay, we got some editing to do. All right, this is a special, it's a special moment for some reason. There's a lot going on, and it's exciting. Today is September the 1st, and the last thing we need to be worrying about right now is the rent being due, or the mortgage being due, or the car payment being due, or anything like that, because we're taking a quantum leap, and I'm getting this myself, and I'm sure many other people are in their own ways, and I'm getting it in real time with other people that are in the circles closest to me, and I know this is happening all over the world. There's no question in my mind. So, as usual, when I get downloaded, I'm pretty much driven to, in most cases, to get out there and just amplify or illuminate or aggravate or whatever it is that you call this, okay? So this is the Soulogy Daily Show. It's something that we intend to put out on social media to keep people informed of what we're doing at Soulogy, to keep them informed of our progress. But I have to put a qualifier in based on the intel that I'm getting today, which is that we may not be on social media because of the things that I'm being guided to say and share. I'm understanding that we are protected, and we know that. We know that. We all know that. There ain't a thing that can hurt us. Nothing but what's in our head, what's in our mind. Doesn't matter what this realm that we all so divinely orchestrated presents to us. Doesn't matter, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it openly right now, and at the risk of censorship or being removed. Doesn't matter. Everyone knows where they can find us. SoulogyNetwork.com. And pretty soon we'll have an app that you can find us for free, and you can land on our public page for free, and you can see excerpts for free. So everyone will always know where you can find us if these accounts get removed, and they get removed by God. But we've spent a lot of time getting past the fears that this world offers. Yeah, it was 11/11 and 1/11 here. It's been 11/11 forever. I guess where I'll start is this. We all know, every one of us, 1212 in Boise, we all know that this time, this spaceless time, in this timeless space that we're in right now, is the culmination of millennia, is the culmination of many, many incarnations. In fact, it's a culmination to this point of every single thing that we have ever experienced and that this universe has ever experienced. It's the grand experiment. It's a grand experience. And it's been prophesized for a reason, so that we can get the most out of what's happening. 55 people in the house. 212, 1212, 1111, 111. The coding's everywhere. So all of the stuff that was written and passed down through oral tradition, oral history, all of the transmissions and downloads, and dimensional experiences and past life and future life memories, all of these have come to us to deliver information in code. And that's it. If there's never been a more important time to disengage from every trauma, every past occurrence, and equally to disengage from our over-identification with a past life or someone we think we were or are. It's a time to do it now. Because what is asked from us, what we've set up for ourselves, is an opportunity to tap into the highest level of potential at a point in space and time when the clock strikes 12, you might say. There's a given moment when, in that given instance, that we can maximize our potential. And the way that we do that is by being fully in our bodies, in our spirit flesh. The soul is the body. This is not a meat suit. This is the fucking soul. You know what I mean? Excuse my French, but I'm a little excited. So this is where the universe is inhaling all of the experiences of, let's say, of the Big Bang. And now it's inhaling it. And this is all of our living libraries, all of the Akashic we had before that breath went out. And we are writing the code for the next exhalation. We are writing the code and the potentials and the templates and the blueprints for the generations universally to come from this next exhalation. We're going back to oneness, right? So you can see it that way. You know, if there's a million becomes 666,000, becomes 333,000. What does that mean? It means that as we're going into the inhalation, we become energy complexes. You know, a lot of people talk about we're going to meet our soul tribe now. Well, that's what's happening. All these individual fractals come together and create an energy complex. And it takes us back in time, you might say. So we become fewer in terms of fractals, but the fractals are composed of more. Now, there's a lot to be done before then, and my only point here is that we're writing the code for ourselves and universal generations to come. And how and what is that potential and that offering? The highest potential, and it's not rocket science, is the integrity that we stand in moment by moment by moment. And it's very easy to gauge this. It's very easy in the dialogue between the soul I am and the universal, because you can detect it, all right, through your humility, and most of all through your unconditional love. And how do you figure that out? Are you in judgment? Am I in judgment? And it's okay to be in judgment as long as we pull it back immediately, as long as we hold ourselves accountable. Now, this is just a very general kind of rule of the road, all right? And it's just something that I'm led to share, okay? Because the days of playing small are over. They're over for me. They're over for you. They're over for Soulogy. They're over for Mother Earth. They're over for everyone and everything. Fear is going to slap you and me in the face until we run out of excuses and people and places and governments and religions to blame. All right? All the universe, us, the you and me verse, all that it's asking, all that we're asking of ourselves is to be ourselves. That's a frequency of truth that rectifies any and all things in that present moment, and it's happening every day in so many different ways, through conversations, through collaborations, and co-creations. So, you know what I like to say. I had to borrow the Zen proverb, let go or be dragged, and it's no joke. The days of being on the pity pot, the days of being in victim consciousness, the days of being in fear, the days of being enslaved by a death program or a survival program, they're as gone as we allow them to be. So there's two ways to look at that. Sometimes when we're in that stuff, we might not want to admit that we are. But if we focus on the co-creations and the collaborations and the alchemy and the magic, then what's gone, but by our own echoes in our own brain, in our own mind, what's gone will disappear because it has no attention given to it, no focus given to it. So, you know, for some reason, it seems like, and this is just my truth, there are groups, people, obviously, that are positioned all over this world, that are leading the charge, you might say. And I think everybody has a different piece to play. And I feel that part of what's coming, and I can look at some of the sisters that are pulling in this intel, and I don't want to start naming names because I know I forget people, but that we will know so much more of who we are by the middle of this month. And this is a fucking incredible month. This is probably the greatest month in the history of the multiversal, especially in the last 12,000 years. But I wouldn't even limit it to that. This is a transformational, powerful month, a month of mammoth, epic proportions of gods and goddesses, of the archangelic, of the universal star family, of the elemental kingdoms, of the inner earths, divine essences, truly a universal rainbow gathering. Okay? We got an equinox this month on September 23rd. It just so happened that Soulogy's going on the road September the 15th, heading for Sedona from the 18th of September through the 2nd of October. It's kind of a Soulogy Fest 2023 tour. We're having the Soulogy Fest December 8th, 9th, and 10th in Houston, Texas. Very, very affordable compared to other conferences. Go to the website, SoulogyFest.com. You get an annual membership with the ticket. Okay? And I can promise you it's the best programming and most unique programming that you're going to find on the face of this earth. And that information comes from the universal family to me personally for at least 5 years. And it's all about people just being themselves. That's the crazy thing. We don't have to go out and do hocus pocus and woo woo and magic and alchemy, because that is the fucking alchemy. Be yourself. Okay? And excuse my French. But after all this time, I got to be myself. So, we're going to have a performance on September the 24th and September the 30th at 7 p.m. at Apotheca on 89A in West Sedona. And Ty and I are going to invite the city, the town, the people, Sedona, over to where we're going to be at, and invite them on the stage and do what Soulogy does, and that's put people up to be themselves, puts them on the stage to be themselves in a place where you can be supported and get past the point of embarrassment and share your soul, because it's contagious now. So, having said all that, let me just get into the meat of what has brought me here today. This may be the last daily show on these 3 Soulogy platforms, on Facebook and the one on YouTube. We already have a Soulogy Network YouTube set up. I think we've got 2 subscribers. Just search or you can go to the page and you can find it. We can go to Soulogy Network on Facebook. Okay. Now, here we go. So let me pick this stream back up. I know there's a lot that's going to happen this month. When you see the apparatus of the 1%, or whatever you want to call the powerless powers that be, pushing September the 23rd, when you see light workers, starseeds, clairvoyants, channels, mediums, psychics, astrologists pointing to September 23rd, when you hold into it the context of these 4 major eclipses, the 3rd one happening in October and the 4th one happening in April of 2024, which has also been forecast as a huge threshold to be crossed on this earth, it makes September more impactful than ever before, in any time before. What is that going to look like? I don't think anybody really knows. Is it going to be Project Bluebeam? Are we going to have fake spaceships and fuckery from these powerless powers that be that pose it as governments and countries that aren't even real? They're just masked. Is it going to be that? I think there's enough of us here with a high enough level discernment that we'll be able to figure that out. Is it going to be benevolent light beings, our family, our monads, making themselves present either privately and or publicly? Could be. Is it going to be all of the above? Probably. And where does it start? And how can we bring into further alignment the truth? Because I can tell you, and this is coming from Franco Di Nicola from the other side, this is coming from a lot of people, everything you thought, everything I thought was true, was not. And so this is where this daily episode is going today. This is where it's going. If you think that a sideshow of a war in Ukraine and the bullshit false propaganda that's put out from it is anything bigger than a domino the size of your pinky toe, then you're mistaken. If you think that a COVID lockdown and a bullshit vaccine and a bunch of false propaganda that's so fucking ridiculous that everybody's scratching their head saying, something's not right. If you think that's a domino any bigger than our pinky toe, you got something coming. Okay? If you think the bills, relationship issues, police brutality, martial law, shortages of food or water, natural disasters is a big domino out there, then you got another thing coming. We all do. This is about us. It's about you and me. It's about remembering who we are. And this is way beyond the cliches of the new ages of the 1990s and even of the last 10 years. We're talking about embodiment. We're not talking about, I got this message that I was so-and-so in a past life and I can, carry 12 crystals and balance them on my head and ignite the world. And I'm having fun with it, all right? It's not about that. It's about who am I in this spirit flesh? What is this? How does this relate? How can I tap into this potential? How can I drive this soul? How can I walk in the Trinity energy where I serve myself, you, and the collective equally in all forms of the energy I express, thoughts, words, and actions? Right? So that's the real disclosure. Every single thing beyond that is a distraction in the greatest of terms. We're focused on ourselves. And what's also coming to light are these collaborations and co-creations where we carry the same energy of being focused on ourselves, being accountable and responsible as the co-creators that we are. Things like Soulogy gatherings, things like the convergence that Sandra Walter's doing on the 23rd and 24th of September in Sedona. Other gatherings. I'm talking about gatherings where it's not about, a beauty pageant or a who's who of the Lightworker community, the Starseed community, nothing against anybody. I'm not throwing any shade at anybody. What I'm talking about, where there's an equal proposition for everybody, where everybody is a star, where everybody is sitting at the round table of spirituality and nobody is at the head of the table, where the walk is the talk and the talk is the walk, where unity consciousness is at a minimum attempted in unison, where everybody can see, because of the level of alignment, the pure telepathy, where all agendas fall, where we literally are coming together in remembrance. And just like our individual past, waking up wasn't the objective. Waking up was getting the information to get to the point where you said, oh shit, I remember this. Let's roll. Okay, that's where we're at. Now, in order to get to that point, every one of us is having further and further veils lifted. And typically the way that's working, even with us, even with people that have been doing this for 10 years and 20 years and 30 years, okay, is to actually be in this body, functioning in this world as a fearless and free soul that you are, knowing there is no death. And there ain't a damn thing this world can do to hurt us. And there ain't a damn thing that some manufactured, man-made God can do to hurt us, because it doesn't exist. We are that. So what ends up happening, it's those things that we want to let go of, that we don't want to let go of. It's those things that tie us to the old. So we can look at those things and see those things as the anchors and attachments that they are that are holding us back. And or we can step forward to the new earth. As our friend, our sister Sandra Walter says, you can turn around and watch it burn, or you can walk to the new earth and co-create and collaborate. Either way, you know, if you want to turn around and watch it burn, you know, I'd say that's the let go, that's the be dragged part. But there are things that will show themselves from the old world, and you don't necessarily have to be looking back at it. You know what I mean? It comes around, and these are the shockers. These are the triggers. These are the greatest activators at this point in the game, and that's what's really part of what's going to happen on a mass scale this month, as I understand it. And I'm getting that from my own, but a lot of it I get from my collaborators and co-creators, and what my soul puts before me, to include these circles close to me, but also to include and to honor the spirit of the Mother Goddess, who has brought many of her own to wake us up and to get us to the point where the masculine part of us could be strong enough within itself to start creating, which is what we're doing. And I'm speaking of the Judith Kuzels, the Sandra Walter, the Mary Rodwells, and many, many, many others. Those just kind of been out there a long, long time. So it's time. And so this month, to me, feels like a summery month. It feels like there's going to be a hell of a lot of distortion, or you might say unveiling. I think that term is much better. Unveiling, triggering things that catalyze our expansion, that shock the human being, depending on where they're at with whatever it is. Okay, don't think anyone's out of the woods here. We got to keep ourselves in check. These things that are going to lead to, very quickly, as we're learning and processing so quickly now, to a very quick, accelerated crossing of the next threshold to the next threshold. Now, this is the part, okay? And let me just say this. Anything happens to these platforms that you're familiar with over the years, my page, Soulogy Group, SoulogyOneStudios Facebook page, YouTube, you'll know where to find us. SoulogyNetwork.com, SoulogyFest.com. Okay, I'm not trying to get kicked off. I'm just understanding what my guidance is in this moment, I was told a few days ago, shut these old platforms down. We've kind of got it tentatively set for the 15th of September to shut them down. I understand that that's an energetic that I, on an individual level, had to follow through with. And as we all know, the physical doesn't always look exactly the same, but typically it makes sense. All right? So the thing is that people very quickly, at a mass scale, are going to find out through the overt revelations of those things that presented themselves all this time, and that we gave permission to lead us, guide us, teach us, train us, condition us. All of that stuff is going to crumble. People are going to understand the spells and the curses and the origination, the intentions, the foresight, the strategizing of these antagonists, of these forces that are our playmates in these realms, that are very connected, that had a job to do, but their time is over now. They're not bad guys. They're just energy like us. But in this transition, with what's being revealed, to include that the Ukraine war is a bunch of bullshit. Now, I know there's people, when I say that, I don't mean that people aren't suffering and people aren't in pain or people aren't whatever. But that's just the surface. And remember, we're souls and they're souls too. And we all chose to come here and experience what we experienced. And every one of us has felt pain, and every one of us has felt suffering, and every one of us has dealt with death. These things do not exist. These are things that we came to feel because we couldn't feel these things as a soul. This is the goal. This is why the shadow is our potential. The shadow is what's being unlocked and unlodged and allowed to return within this body collective to its proper place so it can have the highest level of functionality. But, you know, if we just look at some basic facts, right? If you don't like Trump or you don't like Biden, you got work to do. If you are patriotic or you have a religious fervor for a certain organization, sect of religion, you got work to do. And the reason I'm saying this is because our charge is no charge. What we have set up for ourselves to do, not it's done, but to give us the opportunity in this moment that we only get once, where we have the opportunity to do it to the best of our ability one time, because that's the only time we get. We get one time, right? This is what we have. This is it. This is where we can write the code for universal generations to come in the next exhalation. And that is by being in integrity, without judgment from a human perspective, which is a full-blown 100% compassion. And this is the ground that we're breaking. This is a level of awareness that opens up the field of potential to write the new code by every choice, every thought, every word we speak, and every action we take. It's not bullshit, and it's doable, because the words, well, I can't because I'm only human, are fucking gone. It's an excuse, it's a lie, it's an externalization, and every one of us is better than that. So, when this stuff starts getting revealed and it starts to look convoluted, and and I'm not saying anything in particular is going to happen. I'm just using examples that are on the surface right now. You know? So if it's spaceships over here, Project Bluebeam, all over the world, and the media's telling everybody, fuck that shit. We know that's bullshit. Or if it's true white light beings around the world, different star family, we're going to know. We're going to know because we're not in our minds anymore. We're in our hearts. And we're going to know that. We're going to know everything. We're also going to be able to look at the bullshit and look at the real. And our heart be unchanged by either. Knowing that we are the center of all power. We are the center of the universe. We are the center of this experience. And these issues and these distractions and this convoluted bullshit that's, about gender and about financial reset. And don't think for 1 second that the light worker and starseed circles, disclosure and truther circles aren't just as affected as everybody else out there that we tend to call asleep. Everybody will be tested. There's no stone left unturned. There's no step on the soul highway that you can avoid, that I can avoid. But make no mistake, this is the higher ground that we have sought. This is the place that we laid out for ourselves. So when you see and I see whatever idiots see, whatever ridiculousness that we see from the governments, the countries, the religions, any and all things that would tell us they can take care of us, any and all things that say we must be here, they're like a giant ego. They're like parts of the giant ego identity that say, no, I got to be here. What are you going to do if I don't send you your government stipend every month? What are you going to do if you can't have medical insurance provided by the government? What are you going to do if you can't have pharmaceuticals by the government? What are you going to do if you don't have a government that has an FDA that approves or disapproves everything you can put into your system to heal yourself? All of this stuff is going away the more we know who we are. And the more we know who we are and we share it, the more others are going to know. You cannot fight, defend, stop the truth frequency. You cannot. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. It doesn't matter what you're expressing. You cannot contend. None of us. It is bigger than us. It's the real stuff. And we have the opportunity to align with it in this spirit flesh, which is remarkable. So, all these things that are out there that are the big boogeyman, right? Black ops, secret space, deep state, satanic worshiping, child trafficking, sex trafficking, nuclear bombs. We're bigger than all of it. Every bit of it. We're bigger than every icon created by man. Because I can promise you, if it's been propagated out, and I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about the stories of Buddha and Jesus. And I'm not saying that they're not true. But don't put them on a fucking pedestal. None of them. This is the universal, energetic field. Everything is equal. Everything is all the same. All of these narratives, including Zachariah Stitch with the Anunnaki, Greek mythology. Hey, it's all interesting. It's all our history. But this is what it's all about right now. This is what it's all about. And this is where we call a spade a spade. Let's be frank about it. The United States has a president that's senile. We know this person isn't running the country. Who the hell? Come on. You got another guy, regardless of your politics, has been indicted 4 times. He hasn't done shit. Give me a fucking break. You got a Ukraine war we're sending billions of dollars to, $200 billion plus, and yet we have this fire in Hawaii, the home of Lemuria and Mu. There's bigger stuff going on here, and don't think for one second that your higher aspects aren't out there kicking ass and taking names with what you're seeing happening. But what we got to understand is it works both ways. So if we're sitting here and we have the out of alignment in terms of what we're thinking, saying, and doing, it does affect our higher aspects. If we can align with the immensity of our higher aspects, which is what we're doing, then we become that within our own bodies. And I know it sounds far out, but it's not, and it's here, and you're going to see it. We're all going to see this very quickly. We've accelerated so many timelines over the years in the work I've been doing. I remember coming into the shows a few years ago, and the timelines were 2070, 2056, 2037. Even Franco was using 2037 and 2050, two different thresholds. And I'm like, bullshit. I'm not missing it, for one thing, and number two, I'm not waiting that long. We don't have to. This is within our power. We're the ones creating this. We're the ones that have accelerated the timeline. I personally have known all along that in order for us to get to this place that we are, okay, that I personally, and I believe anyone else, will have to disengage totally. That means no driver's license, no car insurance, no life insurance, no funeral insurance, no medical insurance. Yeah, all of these ruleless rules and lawless laws, all of this stuff, no borders, no passports, fuck you, I'm a free soul. And if I'm a free soul everywhere off of this earth, then I'm damn sure going to be a free soul on this earth. And to make sure that we all remember, we are the point of prejudice and bias and separation and division. We have homework every given moment, and the universal energy is supporting transformation. If you believe that your religion is the one, I'm just telling you, and we all know this, you got work to do. And if you don't believe me, I can promise you that the universal energy, as it's done with all of us many times, will nudge us, tap us on the shoulder, and then hit us with a universal 2x4 across the head. And they're coming very frequently now, as many, many people will attest to you. People are getting wrung out. But there comes a point, and many of us have experienced this. There comes a point where we begin to have a different perspective. It's not forced, it's not contrived, it's organic, and we start to look at the shadow for the gold it is. And we start to open our minds, and we start to consider things. For instance, as an example, how anyone in this country, as an example, can have any type of prejudice or bias of what we call Russia. And that tells me, even if it's me, that I don't have command of my empathic abilities, because there are Russian people in the country that we call Russia. And whether they feel the same way we do about us as we do, as say somebody prejudiced from the U.S. feels about them, isn't the point. The point is the way we think is what perpetuates. And it takes one powerful, unique, and eternal soul in the flesh to begin to change the course. And that's what we've been doing all this time. So in a matter like that, in that example, understanding that they feel pain too, that they feel suffering too, that they don't want war, they don't want food shortages, etc., etc., etc. Right? We do it from here. Really from here. right? Everything from here. And here's the thing, we got nothing to lose. We tried all the other stuff, right? So this is a real good time to check ourselves. This is a real good time to get off the pity pot. It's a real good time to stop pointing fingers at other people. It's a real good time to go lock yourself in a room, turn off the lights and close the door and drink water and juice for 2-3 days and get away from people. Turn off the internet, turn off the phone. It might be done for us, right? So when I say call out, call a spade, tell it like it is, it doesn't mean that we have to do it and jump on a camera like I'm doing right now and declare all this stuff. We can do it from right here. You can look the matrix right in the eye, and you can tell them COVID is fucking bullshit. Okay? I love you very much. The vaccine is fucking bullshit. I love you very much. Spending money on any weapon is bullshit. I love you very much. You got to go. We do enough of this starts happening. Enough of us say, no, I'm not going to support that. I'm not going to participate. So many issues. You can take this down to the individual level. So many people are revisiting their family. You know, I've talked about it. I've had this fantastic reunion with my mother, the mother energy. We were each other's biggest antagonists throughout my life. Yet love wins. Love rules. It's done one by one on a one-to-one basis with people and other energy complexes and institutions. So understand that, you know, the razz and pizzazz and the, you know, the things that you know, take away our attention, the mind masturbation, you know, that leaves us out of the heart. Fuck sports. Fuck professional sports. Fuck the movies. Fuck it. Fuck Hollywood. I love you very much. I love you very much. Don't get me wrong. It's a term of endearment. Fuck can be a term of endearment. We know we're love. We know that we're all heart. I don't know how the universe speaks to you, but I know it speaks to me just the way I speak. And there's nothing wrong with it. God, Goddess did not create junk. Everything is relevant. Everything has code. And if there's anything that will assist you and I in our relationship, interaction, communication with the universe, it's transparency. So why cuss under your breath when you can say it out loud? Okay? There's things are going to be presented. These things are going to, if we, as we grasp the truth behind the lies, as we move further and further away from cognitive dissonance in each and every aspect of our life, we are turning the power off on the projection of this most incredible divine orchestration, this ending of the inverted matrix, and a return to the normalcy of universal polarity. And we're doing it in the flesh. We're doing it in the flesh. You know? That's never been done before. Ever. Ever. I was told on the 1st of March, get off of these social media platforms. They're going to deconstruct. And it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. They are made of dualistic components, right down to our personal pages. I'm not saying SoulogyNetwork.com is the only answer. What I'm saying is that it is made in the Trinified energy, in the Trinity energy. And there are other things, other creations being made in the same fashion. The math has changed. 1 + 1 does not equal 2. Where 2 or more gather, it goes 1, 3, 6, 9, and here we go. This is where the growth is beyond exponential. This is where the growth is beyond quantum. This is where the individual fractal is delivering code to the whole, as the whole is delivering code to the individual fractal. This is the infinity sign, way beyond cosmic steroids. This is our time. This is our place in the sun. This is our time to liberate ourselves. And that is something that we can only do for ourselves. And don't think for 1 second that we don't have to keep checking ourselves. Don't think for 1 second that we're not enslaved in some way, to use that term. Because maybe we're following someone blindly in a relationship or a platform or any number of other things. Okay? It could be the diet you're on. It could be the way you pray or don't pray in the morning. It could be so many things. Think for yourself. You are omniscient. I am soul. And you are too. And no one can take that away from us. With the things that are going to happen, they're all opportunities for us to expand immediately in that moment as we take it in and get it. But as we exhale, that expansion is going to be predicated on our level of compassion and perspective. And like I said earlier, if you don't like Donald Trump or you don't like Joe Biden, you got work to do. And those are just 2 examples of many. All right? Energy is energy is energy. This is all the same unified field, as our friend Lauren was talking about last night on that show. It's all the God substance, the goddess substance, the mother, whatever you want to call it. We're all the same. And we have pushed to the outer breadth of Mother Universe, where we have created a space of, an unsurpassed to now density, a thickness, a slowness, right? The human condition, the human experience. We have reached this outer breadth of Mother Universe, and with it is technology, is Akashic record, is a living library. We're on the crest of the wave, and we can kickflip, we can hang 10, we can do these things. We can create this new code by the way we sing and by the way we dance. Okay? Because the shackles of this world are gone. The fear programming is gone. The Savior programming is gone. We are here. We have come to this point. We have reclaimed that which we never lost. We are in paradise. We are in Eden. And we are all that we chased. And we're actually living this in our flesh, in our spirit flesh, which is very cool. So there's certain things that it's no longer okay. More and more every day, it's no longer going to be okay for any of us to hide, for any of us to be in fear. It's not going to be okay. So I'm not going to mince words on Facebook or YouTube, because I am not dependent on anything or anyone outside of me. And what happens here, it's not about Todd, it's not about Soulogy. It's about the opportunity to act on the potential that we have uncovered for ourselves by walking the fucking talk. Okay? Truth. It's the truth. If I'm not dependent on these things that have power over me, okay, I'm afraid to lose it. We've all been there in many, many different regards. But there are people, including myself, who are going to start acting on this in every aspect of their life. Okay? So I'm not going to come on to any platform and hold my tongue and not talk about things. We know what's going on. We know what's going on. We can talk about so many things. Trilateral Commission, CIA. You know what? It doesn't matter. They're no different than the boogeyman in my dream, who was actually just a part of me that wanted to be seen. All of it's led back to us. So this is our domain. We make the rules. And it's easy because we only have one rule. We are free souls in a free universe, having a free loving, free flying, free flowing, freestyling experience. And anything that gets in the way can get the fuck out of the way. Okay? And how does that happen? Because we say, hey man, that's not cool. You get in line or get the fuck out of here and go to the end of the line. Okay? Right? We don't damn anything. We don't condemn anything. We don't hate anything. We don't judge anything. We discern. We know that this is a free space. This internet included. These platforms that are dualistically constructed included. Everything can be transformed if we do one thing, which is what we've been doing step by step by step, and that's right here, where we learn to say no, where we make the choices that put us in the best possible shape. When we start making choices for ourselves, it ends up converting to the best choice for the Trinity energy. It may not start out that way because we may be so imbalanced, we have to start making tough choices for ourselves. And then the balance comes in because there is a direct relationship, a direct and equal relationship between the love of self and any and all things external of it. You cannot love the universe more than you love yourself. I cannot love myself more than I love the universe. Well, I guess I could. That's a program. But I cannot love anything more than I love myself because it's all the same thing. Right? Well, you know, this is the point where everything literally deconstructs, and it looks like it will happen very quickly. So that means everything. That means any and all things that you or I are dependent upon. It doesn't mean we have to lose anything. It doesn't mean we have to give up anything. But we can only keep those things that are in equilibrium, that are in equality, that are in truth. And here's the thing. We don't need to spend all of our time, the majority of our time, trying to figure out who's speaking the truth. Who is the truth? Well, who the fuck are you? Or who the fuck am I to be judge of that? Because it would behoove us to spend all of our time being the truth. And how do you do that? You know, we have all these courses and all these seminars and all these books and all these tapes, right? And all these different methods and modalities and processes. But what is it to be the truth? Be yourself. Be yourself. You know? All the parts, every bit of it, every single bit of it. Because if you think about what's caused these restrictions and constrictions and blockages in our body, etc. It's the suppression of parts of us. That's all it's been. And we figured this shit out now. You know, Toto's gone behind the curtain and pulled it back, and we've seen the little man that was the wizard. You know? Good stuff. So, yeah. We're going to come on pretty much every day. You know, I'm just going to take everything day by day. We had a show that was supposed to start a few minutes ago, but a while ago I got a message saying that they couldn't make it. Yeah. Oh, she's going to be on in 20 minutes. Okay. I thought she said she wasn't going to make it. So if you're out there, let's see, what's her name? Anybody know? Hang on. Okay. So we got who? She's a new friend. Her name is Margie Longwell, and she is a friend of someone that was on the show, and I can't remember who it was. We'll also have some other stuff going on. I'm going to try to play the. I am going to play the. I'm going to play the. What is it? The Corpus Christi gathering. And by the way, brother Drew 222. I can't remember your name off the top of my head. I know where you live. You're in Kerrville. Why don't we do a show tonight? We had to reschedule when I was in Corpus Christi. We're going to keep bringing it to you. We're going to Sedona. We'll be there September 18th through October the 2nd. We'll be playing at Apotheca on the 24th and the 30th. I believe it starts at 7 p.m. Please come see us. Ty will be setting up his thing. And I'll have a microphone, MC it, and we'll bring all the people in, turn some great tunes on, and just have a Soulogy gathering as we always have. Kind of the same template that we used at the Soulogy Fest. Houston 2023, December 8th, 9th, and 10th. If you haven't been to SoulogyNetwork.com, come on by. We got more and more subscribers every day. It's a self-funded platform. It's a platform that's designed in the 369 through the Arcturians from 2018, where essentially 1/3 of every dollar that comes in will go to the community, and they receive it on a percentage of the viewership slash listenership slash engagement that they get from the community. More on that later. We're going to be making some changes on the site today, and we're just going to keep coming out and doing our best to follow the guidance that we were given. This world does not have a hold on any of us. You know what? I'll just say this before I'm going out the door. Fuck taxes. Don't ever pay another tax in your life. Don't do it. Think twice before you go get your driver's license. Okay? Think twice, before you do these small acts of compliance, because our energy is so powerful now that when our body actually falls in alignment with what we know to be true in our multidimensionality that's been anchored and embodied, it's mind-blowing. We have no idea what the power of that is. And just remember that the human beings were called those who forgot that they were gods. And that comes from our star family, which is our aspects of ourselves, past, parallel, future, whatever you want to call it. But there's a reason that we are conscious in this body. There's a reason that we're conscious in this body 99% of the time. Okay? And now that 1% is coming in to take a seat in all of its aspects of equal proportion to the human being, and the human being to all of these multidimensional, monadic, star family, etc., aspects of us. So, all right, we're going to do a show in about 20 minutes, and just keep on keeping on, and we're going to keep doing the same thing. Try to have some fun with it, but make no mistake, it's a serious thing. It's a golden opportunity afforded to us by the efforts of our previous incarnations. We are valiant, beautiful, powerful, super connected souls that understand that at the end of the day, it's to respect, honor, love, revere each and every single mirror in our life, which is far more than just people. All right? Okay. Peace out.